Hello guys, it's good to see you again. We are from Group 6 and for this video, we are going to discuss and answer some question of the topic of oxygen and carbon dioxide transportation in body fluid. There is 6 questions that will be covered in this video. In the previous video, we had covered about the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide in our body circulatory system. Then, for this video, we will touch more about respiratory pigment, hemoglobin, deficiency, disease and so on. So, hopefully that you guys can enjoy this video and don't forget to give us thumbs up and comments below. Camera ready? Let's roll!
In our human and also mammal blood, there are red blood color, and inside the red blood cell there is a hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin will carry the oxygen and transport to our whole body. So, do you guys know there are another 4 types of respiratory pigments and their color was different from our human bloods. So, let me tell you guys what is the other respiratory pigment and also their color. Let's go!
First respiratory pigment is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin will appear in mammal, birds, reptile, amphibian, and also fish. This glucose in red blood color. For the second respiratory pigment is hemivultrin. This hemivultrin will appear in peanut worm, leech, and also brittle worm. This hemivultrin glucose in purple color blood. Hemocyanin will appear in spider, crustaceans, snail, and also octopus. This will causes in blue blood color. Last but not least, there is a respiratory pigment known as chlorochlorine that inside the Christmas tree, and this respiratory pigment will causes the green blood color.
What are the differences between the 3 basic options for the gas transfer in the body fluid of an animal?
There are 3 types of gas exchange mechanisms, which are concurrent, countercurrent, and cross-current. Every animal has different types of gas exchange mechanisms. Blood can flow in one of 3 ways relative to the flow of the medium, which are concurrent is in the same direction, countercurrent is in opposite directions, and cross-current is at an angle. At first, we need to understand the concurrent gas exchange which occur in the gills of the fish. So water and blood flow over and through the lamellae in the same direction. When the blood first comes close to the water is fully saturated with oxygen and the blood has a very little of it. This equal to a very large concentration gradient, and oxygen diffuses out of the water and into the blood. As moved along the lamellae, the water is slightly less saturated and blood slightly more, but the water still has more oxygen in it, so it diffuses from water to blood. This continues until the water and the blood have reached equal saturation, and this can be seen in the graph. Therefore, blood can pick up no more oxygen from the water because there is no more concentration gradient. The maximum saturation of the water is 100% and the maximum saturation of the blood is only 50%. Next is the countercurrent gas exchange, which also occurs in the gills of the fish. We know that gills are very efficient at taking out what little oxygen is present in the water. It involves blood in the capillaries flowing in the opposite direction to the flow of water flowing over them. Gases diffuse faster from one area to another when the concentration gradient as the difference between the 2 areas is at its greatest, as compared to when the concentration difference is low. In the capillaries of the fish gills, blood with low oxygen concentration travels alongside water with a higher oxygen concentrations. Efficiency of the gills is further increased by ventilation. It involves the increase in flow of water over the gills by swimming and by opening and closing their gill flaps. This behavior draws fresh water into the mouth, which passes over the gills. Lastly is the cross-current gas exchange in avian lungs. Birds have a unidirectional respiratory system, which means the air flows only one way direction. Their lungs do not expand and contract as in mammals and reptiles. Instead, they have expandable air sacs to pull air in a one-way circuit. The sacs do not perform gas exchange, but the lungs are highly efficient. So it takes 2 breaths for the air to pass through a bird's respiratory system. The first inhalation, the air sacs expand. Air is drawn into the posterior sacs. Then, the exhalation 1. The air sacs compress, so the air is pushed into the lungs. The inhalation 2. The air sacs expand again. Air in the lungs is drawn into anterior sacs. The exhalation number 2. Air sacs compress. The air is exhaled. Birds have air sacs that store and pump air through the respiratory system, so the air sacs allow birds to take in oxygen during exhalation. So now we know the difference between the 3 gas exchange mechanisms. One of the difference is the direction of the blood to the flow of medium. The second is the organisms that use different types of gas exchange mechanism. Lastly is the organ involved in the mechanisms.
How is oxygen is bound to the hemoglobin and transported to body tissue?
Hemoglobin is a protein molecule that are found in red blood cells made of 4 subunits. There are 2 alpha subunits and 2 beta subunits. Each subunit or surrounds a central heme group that contains iron and binds 1 oxygen molecule, which allowing each hemoglobin molecule to bind with 4 oxygen molecules. Molecules with more oxygen bound to the heme groups are brighter red. As a result, oxygenated arterial blood where the hemoglobin is carrying 4 oxygen molecule is bright red, while venous blood that is deoxygenated is darker red. Once the oxygen diffuses across the alveoli, it enters the bloodstream and is transported to the tissues where it is unloaded, and carbon dioxide diffuses out of the blood and into the alveoli to be expelled from the body. Although gas exchange is a continuous process, the oxygen and carbon dioxide are transported by the different mechanisms.
Have you ever wondered what factors will affect the ability of our hemoglobin to bind with oxygen? Let's find out.
I will explain the physiological factors which will influence the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. The first one is pH. Second, concentration of 2,3-diphosphoglycerate, which is also known as 2,3-DPG inside the electrocyte. Next, the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide, and temperature. The affinity of hemoglobin will decrease when temperature increases. Some factors will sterilize the deoxygenated hemoglobin and reduce the affinity to oxygen. The first one is the pH. At low pH, the carboxyl group of histidine 146 and a rising residue in the alpha subunit of the other alpha-beta dimer will form bonds. The positively charged side chain of the histidine will participate in a salt bridge with a negatively charged aspartate on the same beta subunit. Besides, oxyhemoglobin cannot form this sort of bond and is unaffected by pH. Thus, as soon as oxyhemoglobin releases its oxygen cargo, the presence of a low pH will lock it in an unreceptive state, preventing it from binding oxygen molecule. The second factor is the concentration of 2,3-DPG. 2,3-DPG is an allosteric effector which will bind to the deoxygenated hemoglobin and reduce the affinities. The third one is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide will bind to the terminal amino group, forming a negatively charged carbamide group. This carbamide group forms at the interface between the alpha-beta dimers, and this negative charge then forms a bridge bond to the positively charged amino groups and side chains, stabilizing the molecule in the T state and favoring the release of oxygen. Halo effect and root effects are caused by the decrease in pH and or an increase in the carbon dioxide partial pressure, and this results in the oxygen affinity decreases. For Bohr effect, it enhances the oxygen delivery by promoting oxygen unloading in systemic tissue while promoting the loading in the breathing organs. Root effect is very rare. It helps to inflate the swim bladder and oxygenate the retina interior fish.
Some people have a problem that lacking of oxygen in the body. Why? So, I will answer the question number 5, which is, what is the disease that decrease the blood oxygen carrying capacity? Let's take a look.
So basically, the disease that decrease the blood oxygen carrying capacity is because of sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease occur when they lose their oxygen and the hemoglobin form into a shape of sickle or crescent, like the letter C as you guys can see in the picture. Then this cell can stick together and cause the blood cannot easily move through the blood vessel. The blood vessel will be blocked and cause a pain. The patient that have sickle cell disease can show some of the symptoms such as anemia, that have less red blood cell in the body, and it will cause the patient feel dizzy, short of breath, and always tired. Other than that is stroke, that mishappen cell can block the blood that supply the brain with oxygen. Thus, it will cause the brain damage, and the central nervous system cannot work properly, cause the stroke happen. Last but not least is priapism, that painful obstruction of the blood vessel in the penis by sickle cell and cause impotence.
How to increase red blood cell count to improve oxygen carrying capacity?
A low red blood cell count is usually due to low consumption of essential nutrients. Eating the nutrient-rich foods can give body the necessary tools to create healthy red blood cells. Try to consume food rich in iron, vitamin A, and vitamin B12. Next, understanding blood count. Normal red blood cell count vary from around 4.7 to 6.1 million cells per microliter for men, 4.2 to 5.4 million per microliter for women, and normal count in children is 4.0 to 5.5 million cells per microliter. Lower average red blood cell count can lead to disorders such as malnutrition, while higher average red blood cell count are dangerous and possibly life-threatening as well. Moreover, making simple lifestyle can make big difference in increasing red blood cell count. For example, doing exercises. Moderate oxygen is beneficial for everyone, but is especially important to create red blood cells. Oxygen needed to stimulate the body to produce more red blood cells. Next, stop smoking. Nicotine causes your blood vessel to constrict or narrow, which limits the amount of blood flow to your organs. Constricted blood vessel decrease the amount of oxygen and nutrient your cells needed. Over time, the constant constriction results in blood vessels that are stiff and less elastic to meet the need for more oxygen.
That's all from us. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to click like button and feel free to comment below. See you next time.